Hey, welcome back. It's time to review a blended bourbon from one of my favorite companies, Barrell Craft Spirits. This is Barrel Batch 34, a 6-year blend of bourbons from Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. I gotta tell you, it is great. Most of Barrel Craft Spirit bottles are cask strength. That's one of the reasons why I love them so much. This one comes in 114 proof, 57% alcohol, and it is a nice, rich bomb. Barrel makes great whiskeys. If you have not checked them out yet, make sure you do so. They are great. Okay, review time. Kicking off with the nose. Cheers. Okay, this nose is bad boy, huh? Wow, 114 proof and is not burning my nose hairs off. That's a good sign. I'm gonna be able to get a bunch of flavors in here, I think. So right off the bat, I'm getting a bit like a farm field life, like earth, some rye spice, a bunch of corn, a little bit of oak spice in there. It's not as robust as I thought it was going to be based on the proof and because it is a 6-year bourbon, but you have to work for some of those notes. I just got a little bit of caramel there, nothing too insane. I think some of these notes are hiding. You have to try and find them. There we go. That was a little bit of orange red fruit on there. Slight bit of coffee. I'm going to say I'm a little let down on the nose a little bit here. It's not as robust as I would have thought, considering it is a bourbon and 57%, but it is still pretty good. It smells like a bourbon, and it's blended, but it smells like a bourbon, and that's what you expect here. I would have expected a little more fuller of a nose. If I think of a 1920 Prohibition, like that one's also 57%. So that's like my metric of like a really good, awesome nose. Makes you want to get it. I think there's a little bit of like maple leaf syrup going on here. It's not as rich as 1920, but it's still a pretty good nose. So I think I'm going to give the nose here. Give that nose a 3.5. It's good. It doesn't scare you by any means because the proof says, oh, this might be pretty strong, but it's not. So it makes you want to drink it and find out what's on the palate. So let's do that. First things first with the palate. We got to check out those legs, huh? Oh, yeah. A little more medium body, a little more viscous. This is what I like about my cask strength bourbons. A nice, rich experience, something to grab onto. Almost chewy. Let's see. Man, so much fuller than the nose. That is awesome. So actually, a lot of cinnamon pepper pops there. And right now, what I love about some of my bourbons is I get that nice, like, really syrupy maraschino cherry note, and I love that note so much. And this is a very thick whiskey. I can chew on this. It's sitting on the mid tongue right now. A lot of nice vanilla, cherry cobbler, really sweet, but like dark sweet as well. Let's see what the second sip does. That was a hot sip. That's my fault. What I'm gonna say, I'm actually getting a lot of chocolate right here. Caramel, chocolate, strawberries. That is a fantastic note to pull out of this. This makes this whiskey just so much better. I always go to the 1920 Prohibition. I know. I've got really excited during that review. It's my highest. It probably shouldn't be, but it is still a great, phenomenal whiskey. This is catching up to that. That chocolate note I just got is just, oh, I can't stop trying to grab it. And the strawberry, a lot of red fruits here, some plums as well. I was not expecting this much fruit. It is honestly, chocolate covered strawberries. I cannot overstate that. It is actually very good. Third sip time. Yeah, so I would have expected some of these mash bills in this blend to have a little bit of rye, and I'm not getting the rye pops. I like a nice rye pop here and there. It's just on the initial sip, maybe a little bit of cinnamon, but then it hides. A lot of those vanilla bean, like vanilla ice cream notes really sit down. And because it's so viscous, everything is just sitting in the center of my tongue. And that is great because that means the finish is going to be long and nice and flavorful. And I love those about my finishes. So right now, I'm going to give the palate a 4.5. Without that chocolate note, this is going to be a 4. But on that second sip, the stars aligned. It hit me really nicely. One of my better sips lately. That was super good. So 4.5 on the palate. Let's see what the finish is. The finish also gets a 4.5. Super long lasting, that cask strength, and the flavors you can pick out is awesome. The vanilla, the oak spice, the caramel, the strawberries, the maraschino cherries. It's syrupy, it's thick, it's chewy, it's awesome. That sounds like it should be a 5, but it's not quite as long lasting as I would have expected a bourbon at 57% alcohol to be. So it loses a little bit there, but it's still a phenomenal finish. I love bourbon finishes, especially when they're cask strength, and this is no exception. So 4.5 on the finish. See what the value is. Most of Barrell Craft Spirits offerings are between $75 and $90. My store runs a little high, so I'm gonna say this one's like 80 to 85 bucks, but still, what's in here is very well worth it. It's not quite the 1920 Prohibition at 65 bucks. That's just a pinnacle of value when it comes to bourbons, but it's still very good. That second sip, I'm still thinking about it. It was so good. So at 80 bucks, I'm gonna give this a 4.5. The experience was very good, very full. The nose, not quite as full as I would expect from a cask strength bourbon, but still 4.5, solid score. See what the overall is. Okay, 17 overall. I can't say this enough. Barrell Craft Spirits makes incredible whiskey. If you have not tried them yet, do yourself a favor and go out and try them. There are so many options here. It's a big world of whiskey for you to start trying if you want to get into barrel. Now, my wife will not like this, but let's make her squirm anyway. Hey, welcome. This is a very strong bourbon. You will not like that, but maybe it smells good to you. How does that smell? A little sweeter. You see maple? She loves the maple, but here it makes a lot of sense. I think sometimes she just thinks she smells maple, but right here that makes a lot of sense. So, is it a good note? Is it a good smelling maple?
Yeah, that's a good smell.
Now that's gonna burn, so like, don't swallow it too quickly.
Okay, so let it sit.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
You know what? For a second, I thought she might have like not hated that one. What are the thoughts there? It's a Bernie, right?
Ooh, right here.
It's a little chilly outside. That'll warm you up, huh?
Yes.
Okay, well there you have it. She did not like it. You hate it.
I don't hate it, but I don't like it.
Okay, and that's fair. Anyway, like this video, give it a like. Not subscribed yet? Consider doing so. See you guys next time.